G'day guys, and welcome to another episode of the Aussie Investing Machine. Thanks so much for joining me. In this episode, I wanted to go over my most recent purchase, which was Northern Star. I made this purchase today. I wanted to run through why I like Northern Star so much, why I made that purchase, and then give you an overview of my portfolio and have a look at the performance since its inception when I started this channel earlier in 2020. I think this will be an interesting one, so follow along and wait until the end of the video to see what that final return was for the portfolio. I'm sure you'll enjoy seeing all of the results and what went wrong, and then what I'm looking to focus on going forward. So buckle in, here we go. Let's first start off with having a look at the breakdown of my portfolio. So as you can see here on Self-Wealth, these are all the stocks I own in this portfolio. And this portfolio is one I created for the Aussie Investing Machine channel. So it's not the only portfolio I've got, but it is the one I am focusing on now. And hopefully we can get some pretty nice returns. So far, it's been okay. As I said, I'll break down that total return at the end of the video. We'll go through what the total profit and loss was, plus the dividends. So stick around for that. So the purchase I made today, I'll just jump over to market index, was this stock, Northern Star Resources. Northern Star is a gold miner, an Australian gold miner, and they've got operations in Australia and in the US. So you can see their 1 year return has been 8%, which is pretty good for, over the past year affected by COVID. And we can see their 52-week price range here. The lowest was $8 over the past year. I didn't get them for that much. I did buy them at $12.84. And I'll break down exactly why I purchased them at this point as well. You can see their price movement over the past 5 or 10 years has been nothing short of excellent. Not a super fast grower, but still definitely what I would call a growth stock. And one important feature which I really like out of Northern Star is that they pay a dividend. It's small at the moment, but they are consistently growing that dividend. And that means that you can expect a little boost on your returns from their growth with the addition of that dividend. So back to the graph, you can see this sort of bit of a cyclical motion that it's doing following the gold price cycle. We've bought at the bottom here, which is good. It's as low as it's been sort of since coming back sort of May. So April, May, a little bit into the coronavirus, the depths of the coronavirus, you've got to pick them up for sort of $10, which would have been a steal. But even in 2019, you could have had them at a great price. But the key thing to look at here is just this sort of since this bottom in 2017, that's $2.98. That is an awesome price. If you bought them at the start of 2017, let me just calculate it. We're looking at, you've made 4.2 times return. So that's a 420% return. That's not bad in 4 years. I think anybody would be happy with a return like that. So that's what got me interested in this company initially, is looking at their price movement. Certainly if you look at some of their competitors like Newcrest, I'll pull them up just so we can have a look at them, another big gold miner. Newcrest Mining, there's their 10-year chart. Does not look the same. There's not this consistent growth that we could see with Northern Star. It has been trending up slightly, but sort of sliding a bit too. So, and certainly if you bought them in 2017 at $20, you're now at 25. So no comparison, hasn't even doubled. So, and that's the biggest gold miner in Australia. So we'll come back to Northern Star. Just have a look down here. We can see their PE ratio, is quite high. Dividend yield's a little low, 1.3%. It's certainly not as big as you'll get from the banks or some property investment trusts those sort of stocks, but as I said, it is growing. We'll get to that in a moment. ASX over the last year has done 17%, so the market has done better, but like I said, looking at that 4-year return, the company has certainly done extremely well. The overview here, Northern Star is a gold production and exploration company, gold regions in Australia and North America, as I said before. We can see here their dividend history, and what I like about Market Index is it shows you this little price chart, so you can see the trend really clearly. And as you can see, they've got this rapidly increasing dividend, which is an awesome sign for the future. Coming down, let's have a look at the ownership. We can see the broker consensus is majority buy at the moment, a few saying hold. Coming down, here's the list of directors and management. Director transactions, so much more buying than selling. There's a bit of a sell-off here by William. Looks like he might have been exiting. Not sure what the story is here, but certainly, yeah, plenty of buys. I'll collapse that. And then here we go. So the top 20 shareholders. So HSBC holds almost 50% of the company. So we're not looking at founder ownership here, unfortunately. It is a massive company and it has been around for a while. So we expect these institutions to be buying in. HSBC almost has a controlling influence on the company, but their performance hasn't suffered from this. So it looks like these institutions are just letting the company get on with what they do best. So it's not ideal, but it is not a tech startup or something like that, where we're really looking for that founder ownership. So not the best, but I'm not super fussed considering their performance. Now, just over here, I've got their AGM presentation, and I'll take you to a few of the key slides, which I think are really important for the company. Bear with me, I'll pull the first one up. So this is probably the first slide I wanted to talk about, and it shows their assets, and by assets, they're talking about their gold mines. You can see their mines in Western Australia and in the Northern Territory in Australia, and we can also see their Pogo mine in the US. Now, I mentioned this in one of the last live streams I did, but I've actually got a friend who used to work for Northern Star, and while he was there, they did a presentation on the Pogo mine, and being a geologist, he thought, wow, what a great asset for the company, and it's certainly got a huge amount of exploration left to go, and there's some really big proven gold deposits. So he sort of told me that Northern Star focuses on purchasing mines that may not really interest some of the other big miners, because they've got a really specialized team of geologists who are somehow able to extract more gold or discover more gold than perhaps some other companies might. So that is anecdotal evidence, but I'll certainly take his word for it, considering he did work for the company over in Perth for a number of years. So this slide shows their locations. I'll bring you to the next slide. Give me a moment. I'll pull that up. So on this slide, we can see how they're really advertising their consistent resource and revenue growth. And I think this is a really important one. And funnily enough, their resource production pretty closely correlates to their stock price. And this is no surprise. They're continuing to find more and more gold, and this is obviously testament to their excellent exploration skills. And if they continue production, then we should see a continuation of the share price going up. And we will get to that later. They do have some guidance which confirms this. It's certainly a high rate of revenue increase that they're expecting. So we'll just pull up the next slide now. So this next slide focuses on the dividend side of things. I mentioned that a little bit earlier. We can see their dividend is trending up. The FY20 final dividend was up 27% on the previous year. And this is a parabolic curve going up. So I think holding this for the long term, especially sort of when the growth phase begins to end, we could really see some significant dividend payouts. So it's got a good sort of end of life story, I think, to the company when when they have finished all of their exploration and we've seen all of that capital growth, it could be the next BHP in terms of dividends. So I like that the company has this up their sleeve. So this next slide talks about their merger with Saric and Minerals. This was reported a couple of months ago. This makes Northern Star one of the largest gold producers on the Australian market. And we can see in this chart here, just behind Newcrest, which is MCM. We had a look at them earlier, but we saw no comparison in terms of their capital growth. So this puts them in an excellent position. They're certainly one of the big boys. And they're saying that their sites are tier 1 jurisdictions. So again, some positive news out of the company. On this slide, they go into a little bit more depth about their production centers. We can see the Kalgoorlie, Yandal, and North American operations. It shows you the sort of reserves. Obviously, Kalgoorlie is a massive gold reserve. You can see that 287 megatons is just huge in terms of reserves. It doubles Yandal, and North America is only a fraction of how big Kalgoorlie is. So it's great that we've got such fantastic local reserves of gold, and it's really what drives this company to be so great. We can see also highlighted here the Saric and Minerals reserves. So this is what they've picked up thanks to that merger, and this will certainly boost their total reserves and the life of their mines. So this slide talks about what I was speaking about before, which is the development of the Pogo mine in the US. We know their proven reserves is only a fraction of Kalgoorlie, but we can see here all of the, investigation sites that they're looking at to discover more gold, and they're using new long hole stoping mining methods, and we're seeing that they're sort of optimistic that there is further increases in the gold reserves. So like I said, I had some anecdotal evidence that Pogo would definitely be a great mine going forward. So let's hope that proves to be true. And if it does, it will certainly add to Northern Star's already very rich asset base. So this slide is one that is pretty important, and it's their Fy21 guidance. So this is what we are expecting from the company throughout 2021. Now, great companies exceed their expectations. So this is the market guidance, and if Northern Star don't hit these figures, then we can expect to see a drop in their share price. So we certainly should be expecting to see them meet and exceed this guidance. So if we have a look, this chart is probably the most interesting point of the slide. We can see over the past 4 years, they've had a 76% production growth, which is enormous. And this chart is probably the most important part of this slide. Then they're looking at this guidance over 21, 22, and 23, and they're looking at a 40% production within the next 3 years. So over 4 years, that probably is about 55, 60%. So a little bit less than over the last 4 years, but they are producing more and more, and obviously it's diminishing returns in terms of how much gold you can get out of the ground. So I think 40% production growth, if that translates into earnings, that still makes it an extremely strong growth company, especially considering a lot of these reserves are proven. So exciting figures here. Let's hope they can smash that guidance. And if they do, I think it will really pay dividends for investors. So jumping over to my technical analysis of Northern Star, we can see some really fantastic figures. Apologies, some of these colors haven't been updated, but overall, we're seeing a sea of green. All of their growth has been above 15% in all segments. Earning per shares, net income after tax, equity growth, and their debt to equity is low. It's well below 50%, which is sort of my cutoff. If their debt is larger than 50% of their equity, typically that's a stock that I'll stay away from. So they are ticking every requirement across the board in terms of their financial fundamentals. So this was another key selling point for me. Now, I'll just say I forgot to say at the start of the video, this is not financial advice of any kind. Please do your own research and obviously consult a professional financial advisor before making any investment decisions. So this is just my thought process and what has led me to purchase Northern Star. It may not be the right investment for you, but I just thought I'd be transparent and show you why this company appealed to me and why I made that purchase. So yeah, killing it across these key financials. So far, loving everything about the company. So that's why I made the purchase. If we have a look back at my portfolio, you can see sunk quite a decent amount into Northern Star, 4,700. It's my biggest holding at 20%. And I hope to get a little bit more active in the market now. We've seen a little bit of a price drop across a few key stocks, which I'm interested in investing in. So expect to see a few more portfolio updates coming in the next few weeks and months. Let me know if you like this video format and this kind of portfolio update, and I'll definitely make more of them. Drop a comment below and don't forget to like the video. Now, just before I wrap up, I did say I would go over my returns since my portfolio's inception. So let's do that. I've got it here in a spreadsheet, and you can see this table above has Northern Star included, which sort of skews the results because I've introduced a 20% addition, and that brings my percentage gain down. So let's focus on, let me just increase this. Let's focus on this table here. So this is everything without Northern Star, which I just purchased today. And we can see the overall return was 4.68%. And that's nothing to be proud of. It's better than you're getting in any bank at the moment, but certainly if you had put your money into an ETF that tracks the ASX 200, you may have had a better return than this. So when we add the dividends in, we can see that comes up to 5.11%, which is respectable, but it's certainly not what we're aiming for. I think 10+% is certainly the minimum requirement. So this portfolio has been going since the 29th of July. So we're not quite at 12 months yet. Hopefully when we hit that 12-month mark, I'll be able to turn around and say, here's our 10+% portfolio. We're not there yet. It has been a tough year, and certainly the stocks with the highest percentage gain, Beach Petroleum, who would have thought, certainly I would have thought the bottom performer, which is Pushpay, would be doing the best, and I expect to see a recovery from that stock. So even Kogan here has only made a measly, how much? $16. Not what you'd be expecting. So I think we need to let this run a bit longer and make some additions like Northern Star and a few other stocks I've got on my radar. And hopefully we should see this pull up above the 10% mark. But yeah, love you to follow along with me and see what I'm doing. How have you gone over the past 6 months? I'd love to know your results. Drop me a comment below and let me know. That'd be great. So yeah, obviously the dividends do help. That's a pretty nice little boost in the profits there. It's brought it above, what have we gained? Probably 0.4%. So they do help. And certainly something like Northern Star, that will only increase as we go into the future. So a lot of these stocks are pretty conservative as well. I wouldn't say there's any big risks there. There's no penny stocks. There's no buy now, pay laters. So that obviously contributes to that lack of extreme growth as well. But there you have it. That's the portfolio breakdown so far. Love to know your thoughts on it. As always, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.